man.
About it. Ready when you are, Coach.
Okay, review of the game. Not a lot of difference than what we talked about after the game that night. You know, had a chance. Best team in the country. Had them on the ropes for a while, and when you do that, you got to make the plays. You know, there's a lot of plays to point to, but you know he does finally throw us one. We got a chance to intercept it in the red zone, and we drop it. And you know you're not going to get many of those chances against Mac, and got to make that play. And then, you know, the two fumbled snaps, but especially the second one, you know, it's third down, and, you know, we're running a play where Kenny's going to the flat, and 32 has him, and he's looking in the backfield, and Kenny's going to be wide open for a touchdown, and we fumbled the snap. I think that would have tied it up. I can't even keep track, whatever, 49-49 or 56-56, whatever it was. But that would have tied it up. You know, and really kept the pressure on them. So, you know, can't have those things happen. Ended up having to settle for a field goal there. You know, would have continued to be, I think, all touchdowns the second half for both teams at that point. So they got a really good team and great players, great coaching, and had a chance to beat them in our first year here. So, you know, like I said before, you know, we're getting started and we got a lot of work to do, and this is just the beginning. This is, you know, I said it the other day, this is the beginning of the future.
Well, you know, one of the talking points to come out of Alabama's post-game the other night was apparently Coach Saban's belief that you may have had his defensive signals. I'm wondering if you caught some of that and if you had the signals.
First off, I've never known the signals. I mean, I've never even paid attention to that while I was there. I'm sure they wouldn't even be the same. You know, this is a new coordinator. So, you know, I love Coach and have a lot of respect for him. But if you understand tempo, a signal wouldn't help us. We call the play basically before the last play is even over, before they even mark the ball. We call our play. You know, then they scramble to get a play call. They're just trying to get their guys lined up. So it wouldn't do us any good. We're already, like, by the time someone relay that to us, we're already, like, snapping the ball. So I don't know where that came from. And people do it. It's not illegal. You know, people do it all the time, but it's usually people that play slower. You know, people steal our signals all the time. But it's hard to translate, you know, to the players because we're going so fast. So we did not do that. So it is what it is. It doesn't make any sense if you understand how we play.
Yeah, you're going to face Kendall Browse this week, and of course he was with you at Florida Atlantic in 17. Is there something from that 2017 season, signals or whatever, that he might be able to take and use to his advantage?
About our signals?
Yeah, are there signals or something else from that time that he could use?
Well, I would hope he'd say, you know, learn some things, you know, offensively. I know when we watch him, you know, we see a lot of carryover, you know, from FAU stuff that we did there together, and that he kept, you know, at Florida State and now there. So, but the signals wouldn't be, you know, our defensive signals, which he wouldn't know those. And that's the least of our worries right now is our defensive signals. We got to line better, tackle better, and, you know, make more plays.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Lane, a couple of your defensive players this year have said things along the lines of they don't feel like they're fully trusting the system when they're on the field. They don't feel like they're playing within the system. How do you go about fixing that?
Well, I think confidence is very fragile, no matter who you are. Best quarterbacks in the world, they get hit around, you know, in Super Bowls, and we've seen them play bad. So I've always said that, and I think when, you know, you're in a run like this where we're struggling, you know, in that phase of the game, you know, it's hard. And we're playing, you know, some great players. You know, a lot of first-round picks we're trying to cover there. So, you know, it usually takes a game or part of a game to play well to kind of get that back. And so Hopefully that happens this week. Every week's a new week. Every game's a new life. What you've done before never matters, never has. Whether you're Elijah Moore leading the country reception, I got nothing to do with Saturday, or whether you've given up a ton of yards. It's all new. And that's why they play the games. It's why, people think games are going to be one way and they're completely different because you got to show up. So I look for us to play much better this week on defense.
With the missed tackles, is there anything you can do in practice to work on that, or is it just kind of the guys have to wrap up better?
No, we do tackling on Tuesdays tomorrow and even part of our service period, which I don't think many people do. So we just got to continue to work on that. I think in general, this is no excuse. I think in general we're seeing defenses struggle in general around the country and especially the SEC. I don't know if that's a product of missing spring ball and that's more important for defense than offense, but I've heard a lot of defense coaches say they're struggling, or I just read something about how many SEC teams are in the bottom half of rankings, which is very unusual. Usually the SEC is extremely hard to move the ball, especially to run the ball.
Go ahead, David.
Lane, you guys hosted a number of recruits virtually on Saturday in this kind of weirdness of COVID. Just curious on your thoughts on that, and generally speaking, what was involved, and how do you feel like that worked out?
Well, we're just trying everything. We're in a very difficult situation as a first-year staff. A lot of these kids recruiting, we've never met them and may never meet them before they come. So, and it's hard. Usually they want to go to the kind of established programs right now if they can't visit anywhere because, that's what you do. You come to the programs that are building like us normally because of relationships, because you went there, you loved the campus, you loved the staff, the head coach or position coach, whatever it is. So, we're just trying everything that we can. I do feel the last 3 weeks since we started playing, recruiting feedback has been a lot better than it was prior to that. I think kids are excited with the product that they see, the energy that we play with, the way our sidelines, and the way our players, play. I think they're excited about that. And I think, on defense, I think they also see, hey, I can go there and help them win, and on offense, they see, hey, I can go there and have those type of numbers like Matt is, or like Elijah is, or like the two backs going over 120 against Alabama. So I think there's a lot of good things going on right now.
We'll go to John from CBI.
Lane, based on the first couple of weeks and even last night, how would you kind of assess Matt's progression running this offense?
I don't want to, rat poison the guy, but, A+. He's made so many plays, bailed us out of different things, and, I don't know what he was one last week. I'm sure Max won now, but they're probably still 1 and 2 in country and quarterback efficiency, and just has played lights out, which is difficult. I don't know many people would have expected that. Again, having no spring. In a quarterback competition. It's not like he's, established starter in the third year of a system. This is all new for him.
Coach, on that recruiting front, do you anticipate the dead period to be lifted at any point soon with, some states starting to open back up and things like that?
I hope so, but I've not heard anything about it being lifted. I think it's still December 1.
Go ahead, Nick.
Lane, I know it was disappointing to have to kick that field goal in the fourth quarter, but for Luke, how valuable was it to just get one through the uprights to start the year?
It was painful to kick, but, I can't remember what it was, but it was too long. We were basically in a 4-down. The way the game was going, once we got to the fourth quarter, I said, guys, we're in 4-down. If we're going to have 4th and 2 on our -25, we're going to go for it, because just the way the game was going, we couldn't have a possession with 0 points. So obviously we didn't want to, but the snap led us into that, and it was great for him to make those. And the next one wasn't as big a deal because you needed 2 scores anyway. So, it didn't matter. We didn't go for it because you had to score a touchdown and a field goal anyway. So really good job by him on rough conditions.
Go back to Parrish.
Lane, I know you had a other people interested in you last December. I'm wondering if you or your representation had conversations with Arkansas and maybe what you thought about that job.
Oh, we did. I'm not going to get into complete detail about that. I knew that athletic director actually from interviewing with him at Houston, so I knew him before. I think he does a great job, great guy to work for, and so I think they got some really good young players that you're seeing, kind of like us, some on offense as well. And they're doing a great job. I mean, they very easily could have won last week against an established program like Auburn. After losing 20 straight SEC games, prior to winning the week before. So Sam's doing an awesome job. And their defense, for a defense really bad last year statistically, is doing a great job.
What have you thought specifically about Felipe Franks in that offense?
Obviously they go fast. There's similarities in that. He's done a really good job coming over there, which is tough because he had no spring ball as well. So, they're doing a really good job.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, Lane, do you anticipate having Jacquez Jones back this weekend?
I hope so. That was, we missed him, and he'd rotate in there. Mullen's done a good job starting, but those guys rotate and play special teams, so I think they play better when both guys are there.
Any other questions for Coach Kiffin?
All right, thanks, guys.